We are here at a fast charger, a supercharger, which we normally don't do, only because we're having troubles with our level 2 charger at home.
EV ownership is very easy if you're able to charge at home with a level 2 charger. However, if your level 2 charger quits working, then it's a little bit of an adventure. We've done a lot of videos about charging tests with our electric vehicles, and we've even done one with using our wall box, which is our level 2 EVSE that's hardwired into our house. And that level 2 charges at 240 volts, and you can get faster charging than just plugging into a standard wall outlet, which is glacially slow. Well, a little under a month ago, when I was on my trip to San Marcos, I was getting notifications from my phone and my watch, both from our Wallbox app and from the My Chevrolet app. And it was that the charge had been interrupted, and then it was restarting, and then it was getting interrupted again. And I don't know what was actually happening with the charger at the time because I was on the trip in San Marcos. So what was that like that first week with the charger?
At first it wasn't bad. It was just, it would stop charging and we'd go, oh, that was weird. And then we'd unplug it and reset it and plug it back in, and it would be fine for a while. But the incidences of that happening got closer and closer together.
Now, when you say reset it, what do you mean?
Well, sometimes we would just unplug it and plug it back in, and that seemed to be enough. If that didn't work, we would flip the breaker on the wall box.
So when she's saying reset, that's what she means, is she was flipping the breaker. So in case you were wondering on the video. So when I got back from the trip, I plugged the Model 3 in, and it worked fine. I got a full charge, but the next time I needed to go somewhere, it wouldn't unlock from the charge port on the car. It would release the wall box plug, the J1772, from my adapter, but it wouldn't unlock the adapter from the car unless I went into the Tesla app and unlocked it with the app. I suppose I could have gotten into the car and done it from the screen as well, but it was easier to just take my phone out of my pocket. But I had to do that. And then the next few times I tried to plug the Model 3 in, it didn't recognize the plug right away. I had to plug it in like 2 or 3 times, and the little T light stayed white, like no plug was there, until eventually it'd go blue, and then it would start charging, but it wouldn't unlock again when it was full.
With the Fiat, it just wouldn't charge at all. It would not, what would happen is I would plug in the charger to the car. It would blink like it was thinking about it, but then it would never actually start charging. It would just sort of default, and sometimes, again, like in the beginning, it would just not charge. But then sometimes it would trip the wall box, and we would try to reset it. The Fiat was the one that stopped charging with the wall box the earliest, and so I eventually gave up and just started plugging it into level 1 because it has the smallest battery and it's the easiest to do that with.
And the Tesla was right after that. It stopped recognizing the plug. I think I was able to get maybe 2 more charges off of the wall box by the time I got home, but the Bolt was getting charges from it for like 3 weeks. But the problem with the Bolt was it had charged for 20 minutes, disconnect, and it would disconnect. It would act like it had been unplugged when it hadn't, and it would immediately reinitialize the charge. Like maybe 30 seconds later, it would start charging again. And so I'd keep getting all of these notifications on my watch and on my phone. And then that just looked like, hey, this isn't going to work. So I called Wallbox customer support. We'd gone through many times of cycling the breakers and everything, and it just wasn't going. And I was on the phone with the Wallbox customer support for about an hour. That had me going through different settings in the Wallbox app. They had me make sure that I was on the correct software update, and that was fine. And then they just did a hard reset. And all I had to do was tell him the serial number on the side of the wall box, and he was able to pull up immediately the charging history that wall box had. And he was watching on his computer, I don't know where in the world he was, but he was maybe about 10 seconds behind real life as far as seeing what the wall box was doing. So he did a hard reset, and then I had to make sure that all the software was updated again and get it reconnected to Bluetooth, get it connected to Wi-Fi, get the new software update downloaded, get that installed, and then that took about an hour, and then it still wouldn't work right. And at that point, he said that he would he'd elevate it to the service team. He needed some pictures from me. He wanted to get pictures of the plug, of the wall box installation, of the car, showing that it wasn't a charging schedule that was causing the problem. And then he also told me that the charge recorded its first use on June 5th, 2022, and this was the problem because it was now like June 9th or 10th, 2025, and the unit had a 3-year warranty. But I was out of the warranty by only just a couple of days. So that was kind of sad trombone about being just a couple of days out of warranty, and that's when we finally called customer service. But after I sent the pictures, he sent me an email responding that he got them, and then the next day he said that his service team said since it was so close to the end of the warranty, they were going to go ahead and honor the warranty anyway and send us a replacement wall box unit. And we'd have to send the other one back so that they could look at it, but they'd send us a new one. And the email said it'd take 7 to 9 business days to process. 7 to 9 business days. Well, it took 7 to 9 business days before it even shipped. And it finally showed up this past week while I was also out of town on a different trip, one that I flew on. So in the meantime, we had to operate on level 1 charging.
Yes, that is correct. And while you were gone, Luke, while he was gone on his trip, we had, of course, the Tesla, the Fiat, and the Bolt all there at the house, and they all needed charges. Now, I was actually driving more in the Fiat than I had been in the past. Dylan was driving about the same amount as he had been, over the previous month or two. And of course, the Tesla was not being driven at all once I came back from dropping Luke off where he needed to meet to go to the airport. But all of the cars had been operating without a reliable charger, so they all needed to be charged. So we were sort of switching around the level 1 plug quite a bit, trying to make sure that I wanted to make sure that I had enough charge in the Fiat to get to work the next day. Dylan had enough charge in the Bolt to be able to get where he needed to go, and I was trying to get the Tesla charged up so that it would be full by the time Luke got home at the end of the week.
Now, for a couple of weeks while our wall box was down, the Bolt would charge off of it. It'd just take a little longer than normal because it would keep disconnecting and reconnecting about every 20-30 minutes. But it would go to the charge limit until it stopped going to the charge limit just this past week. It was only in that last week that we had to have the Bolt, the Fiat, and the Tesla going with their level 1 EVSEs, the mobile chargers. No, the wall box wouldn't charge my live wire either. We had a couple of weeks where the Bolt would charge level 2, but between the Tesla and the Fiat, we'd have to have one of them always plugged in, always be charging on a level 1, because by the time Rachel needed to go to work or when she would get home, her car took priority because her Fiat's much shorter range. It needs to get to a full charge, whereas this Model 3 has enough range that if I'm around 50-60%, I'm fine. But yeah, it was a bit of a headache. We were actually finding excuses to go into the Metroplex to where there were superchargers so that we could get up to 80% on the Tesla supercharger or at that Shell recharge at the mall while we had lunch, all of that stuff. So but we were at least able to plug in at level 1 at home. But this whole last month has let us know that we really appreciate having that level 2 EVSE. So, resolution to the story. While I was out of town, the new wall box finally showed up, and I just got back from that trip yesterday. And this morning, Rachel and I installed the new one. We took the old one out. It was hardwired by an electrician, so really all we had to do was open it up and move the wires. The circuit was already installed professionally, but we had to remove the NEMA 1450 pigtail from the wall box so that we could hardwire it into our system. And it was a little tricky, making sure that everything was snug down and all of that. That was a little tough because the wires had already been cut for that. And the first time that we did it, we didn't quite get all those wires tightened in, and so it didn't work. And the circuit board had come disconnected. We got that reconnected, got the wires connected properly, and it's working now. We've got our level 2 EVSE capability back with a new wall box. And we're really looking forward to being able to keep these cars charged on level 2. What were some of your opinions of the last month of having to do the rotating mobile chargers into that 110 outlet?
I mean, it's not ideal, obviously, but it is fine. Like, it wasn't terrible. If this had happened while everybody was working every single day, it would have been a real problem. Like, we would have had to have been made a plan to go to superchargers or fast chargers a lot more frequently. As it was okay. It was inconvenient. It wasn't ideal, but it wasn't devastating, and so it was okay. I mean, you can charge a car on level 1. You don't have to have level 2, but we own 4 EVs, so.
And just so everybody knows, we live out in the country.
Right.
A 20-mile one-way commute to work is the shortest commute any of us have.
Exactly. So if you live, in town and your commute is really short, this would be less of an inconvenience for you.
I gotta think, if you're only driving your car to work and back during your work week, and you work within 5 miles of where you live or something like that,
yeah,
and you're putting 10 miles on the car a day, you can live on level 1.
Yeah, you probably can.
You probably, but with the miles that we drive, no, because your Fiat, you'd put 40 miles on it anytime you had to go to work, and it would take, it'd get plugged in when you got home, and it'd take the entire overnight to recoup that.
Yeah, that's what it takes on the Fiat. So, like, really, I need all night to charge my car on level 1 if I'm going to go to work the following day.
And if I showed up with 30% on this Tesla, the app would say 24 plus hours to full.
Yeah, it takes a long time to charge something, especially something with a big battery, on level 1.
So, yeah, if you're relying on level 1, remember your ABCs. Always be charging.
Yes.
Level 2, probably not a bad idea to do that as well, but we have cars that have to cycle through that wall box. And I'm wondering if 4 EVs on one plug is what we just wore it out.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I mean, one of the EVs is a motorcycle, and it doesn't get ridden that often, so it's not like we have 4 cars, and we don't all, like, not all of us need to drive every day. We're not all, like, we have unusual employment where we're not necessarily driving to work every single day, all 3 of us, so it kind of gets staggered, and it's not terrible.
I'm at the time of year where I don't have to go to work every day. And it actually, for me, it would have been more convenient if this had happened when I was in the time of year when I did have to go to work every day, because there is a Tesla supercharger on my way home from work. So every couple of days I could have stopped there for 10, 15 minutes and been fine.
Yeah, it would have been more convenient. It would have been more expensive.
Would have been more, yes.
Pay for it.
Yes,
but,
it would have been way more expensive.
But yeah, so it wasn't terrible for us. It could have been worse. But yeah, if you have more than one EV and or you have, more than just a few miles to drive every day in your regular commute, that level 2 wall box is really convenient. It helps a lot.
So this is the explanation of something we've been hinting at in the last couple of videos of our What Went Wrong month, because during the time that we were getting the windshield replaced on this car, the tires replaced on this car, during all of that time we were dealing with this wall box problem. And it finally now, it's June 29th as we're filming this. So it has, and it started acting up around the 2nd of June. So it's been the whole month where we've had this issue. But it's resolved now. Things should be back to normal on that front. The other What Went Wrong, the last one, is not going to have a resolution for a while, and it has to do with the live wire. So I'm probably not going to have a resolution on that until the end of August or early September. So be sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. And we'll get into some other EV related content other than talking about things at our place that broke or needed fixing sometime soon. So thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.